Thank you so. She has got a new program she wants to go over with us real quickly before they get started. So thank you all.
Yeah,
Thank you all that's on it.
It's our Supreme Drink program. I'm gonna refer to it a lot like the KHC program, because everybody pretty much knows KHC. Except on ours, on their second mortgage, the grant for their down payment of 3.5%. They don't have to pay it back.
Oh, wow.
They have to make 5 years of payment on time on their first mortgage. The second mortgage is 0% interest, no payment. After they make 5 years worth of payments on time, we wipe it free and clear. Now, say something happens on month 36 that they're late, that 5 years starts over again.
Ooh. That's an incentive.
So it is amazing. 620 credit score, so that's not bad. That's actually lower than KHC. It's actually, I think, a better program than the KHC, all the other programs out there. There's no income limit. It follows standard FHA guidelines.
Wow.
So,
And so it's 3.5% down and
but the grant takes care of the down payment, so you can ask the seller to pay your closing cost. Customer gets in with nothing.
or you could pay it and not have to.
Well, in multiple offer, we're seeing a lot. I'm in my second multiple offer right now, and my buyer loves it, but they're trying. God knows if there's gonna be 10 or so, you can't do that.
Yeah,
It's better to let them.
yeah,
Because if I understand you right, if they do take that, they would get the grant and not have to pay that 3.5% back.
correct. And you really don't have to disclose that they're doing the grant. You can just say the FHA loan.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah. You don't have to say KHC, you don't have to say Supreme Drink.
Just like.
You just, FHA. Yeah, it's stuff we do on the back end. We let the customer know that, hey, cause they may be like wanting to do USDA, but they find a house that doesn't qualify for USDA. So,
That's a good point.
yeah, so it's like 100% program. Except for the closing costs. And I think more and more. I'm gonna aggravate maybe. There's more and more of, seller pays. I mean, everybody pretty much is asking for seller pays anymore. Somebody's getting money. Bill's taking it all on tax.
Bill's taking it all.
I guess so. Any other questions on there? And it doesn't take any longer to close them. We're still closing less than 30 days. Actually, I have one I'm closing in 17 days. It was third close from out, and I didn't do anything different. So,
Well, we do thank you.
all right, enjoy your breakfast.
I did not know about this. If I did, I've forgotten. So thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you so much
Yeah,
for
baby.
breakfast, guys.
Sarah, I'm not talking to you, Sarah.
That's scary when she just jumps in.
Well, I was talking about my trip. And I was on Facebook the 30 minutes later. Exactly.
Oh, no.
And because somebody said I was saying scary. And it
You listen.
very scary.
Creepy.
If you don't have any questions, let me know.
She's right next door.
And, you can always
Always
take
have
the
customers
customers.
call, so we can answer it after my
Office call rings to the cell phone.
answer to the phone.
Okay.
Y'all have a great day. And thank you for giving me 5 minutes.
Appreciate you.
See you.
Okay. Who's yours? Yours. Whoever's.
I'm Bill Dunn, McCracken County PVA. This is Glenn Miller, Senior Assessor in the office. He gets a lot more phone calls than I seem to do sometimes. But that works out great for me. I can work on other stuff. So the manual I put on everybody's desk, I want you to know that this started about a week ago. We had no manual before then. I don't believe Q Public's got one. I don't think another PVA's got one that I saw anyway. I started actually writing this to create like a agenda for today. And then I kept adding and adding to it, and this is where we're at right now. It's more, so I renamed it a manual rather than an agenda for a class. So it's version 1. It could probably have a lot more material in it. Could have some mistakes in it, although I think I've removed as many mistakes as I can find. If you have anything to contribute, I've got the last paragraph down there says, if you have feedback, let me know, let me or Glenn know, and we'll see what we can do to get it added to it. This has got a brief description about almost everything on this website. So, but it doesn't, there's no FAQ in here that says, hey, if I want to do this, go here, do this. If I want to do this, it just says what all the buttons are and what they do. It doesn't actually tell you how to use it yet. So there's more work that we can do to this. So I did a class at Paducah Bank probably 2 months ago. We talked for about 2 hours and we didn't even get through everything on the website. So I understand we want to do about an hour here, maybe less, whatever. As much time as you want, I'm available. So I'll talk about, there's usually a few components. The way I view it, there's the menu over here on the left. That's the layer. There's the blue menu up here that has different features. And there's your my account option that's there behind Haley. And
We can move her if she's in the way.
no, she's okay. We're not going to talk about that too much. And then there's the toolbar up here at the top left of the map. So one of the things that we changed in the last few years was you used to have a subscription to even look at the map. You don't have to have that anymore. A lot of the information, well, about half the information on the website is now free. Anybody can go look at it. The only thing you really have to pay for anymore are the reports. And that's because I can't completely make it free, as you may have heard me say at a Paducah Board of Realtors meeting last time, was I still need some revenue off the website to pay for my aerial team, my part-time staff. They do a tremendous amount of work to help us get the county inspected. Without them, we cannot get it inspected. When I got to the PVA office, the guys, the inspection staff were inspecting 4, 5, 6 properties a day. And you can't inspect 34,000 properties in 4 years if you're doing 4, 5, 6 a day. It's just not possible. So the aerial team is vital. And the money from this is vital to pay them. So
I'm gonna say a really stupid question.
Yeah.
What is the website? Trying to get. to it.
okay, well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Some people are on it. I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah. The way most people get to it is they go to McCracken PVA.com. And the red button there, it says tax roll. I added some options to that. There's login, free map, purchase a subscription, a direct link to that, and sales list for anybody who wants to see what's sold recently. So you can go to any one of those. If you go to free map, it brings up the map. And like I said, free map, I wanted people to know there's some aspects of the website that are free. You don't have to have a subscription for everything. So one of the things that I did a while ago after we got the laptop set up was, do y'all know what this is? This button here? That's the GPS button. And I never understood how it works on a laptop or a desktop computer, but it does. If you hit now it's turned on because it turned blue. Well, now see, it made me a liar. It worked a while ago. Did it?
Mine's
Okay,
working.
okay. It worked a while ago, but now it's got me out there in the park. We're actually over here. If I leave it on, it may move over here. But when I clicked on it the first time a while ago, it took me right here in this building. And now I'm going to turn it off. But if you're using the website on your tablet or a phone and you're out anywhere in the county, it should take you exactly where you're standing. Even when I'm at my office in the corner of the building, and I'm on my phone on this website, it will take me to exactly where I'm standing in my office. It's pretty cool.
Or to Nova Park, whichever.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I tell people that is there are some apps that you can get on your phone, like Regrid and some others that people can walk around a property for free, or they can pay a small amount for the app if they want to know the property lines. Well, this is available to anybody. You don't have to have an app for that. You can just go to our website, go out in the middle of a field somewhere, hit the button. And if you're not sure how close you are to the property line, this should show you about where you're standing. So you know if you're reasonably close to the property line, like hunters. There's a hunting app for things like that. So, but anyway, don't forget about the GPS button. So,
That will show in city, property lines and everything.
yeah,
Okay.
the red lines here,
Okay.
those property lines. There's a multitude of purposes for it. And, so the layers over here, current layers, that's these red lines here. We changed those. Those used to be black. Did you suggest we change? Glenn suggested we change the color from black to another color because you couldn't see black on here. So we changed them to red. Q Public is fantastic. Anytime we need something changed, if they can change it whatsoever, they will do it. And they don't charge me anything for it, which is even better. This website costs us about $15,000 a year. We update it. We put a tremendous amount of information in it. And the other website that we have, McCracken PVA, I have a virtual server that I pay for. It's about $1,500 a year. I could get it a lot cheaper, but it's with Q Public and I just keep it there. But anyway, so the red lines are the property lines. Those are the ones that we believe are correct. Every now and then we'll find one that's erroneous and we'll fix it. If somebody calls us or comes in the office and they say, hey, that doesn't look right, or it doesn't match, we fix it. So we do find mistakes, or people report mistakes from time to time. So the current parcels, that's the layer right there. If you take off that check off of current parcels, it takes away the property lines. You can turn on and off everything over here. If I go to I'm going to try and go to the bottom here. Okay, here we go. If I go to the bottom and I turn off the 2023 aerial photo, the aerial's gone. I can turn on and off the roads, and it's running slow for some reason. Okay, now, well, they're disappearing, but okay, they're gone now. You can turn on and off anything over here you want to see. So I'm going to turn the roads back on. I'm going to turn the 2023 aerial back on. I'm going to go back up to the top, turn the parcels back on. These other layers over here, the 2020, 21, 22, and I've got a 23 layer. Those are the same property lines, but those property lines were effective the last day of that year. So sometimes we want to be able to see what changed in the property lines. So we're keeping track of the property lines up there in another layer. And I haven't added the 23 yet, like I said. Address numbers is something we started.
Everything turned blue. It's blue bad, or it looked like it's blue water? Or
What'd you say?
when you hit floodplain?
Oh, are you zoomed in on a property?
Well, I'm just on our dot where it came in, just.
Oh.
it's flood-
Oh, when you hit the GPS button?
Well,
Floodplain.
Oh, did I hit floodplain?
no, I hit it.
Oh, okay.
I was just, everything's blue and I'm like, it can't be all.
You have to. zoom
Yeah.
in. You have to zoom in with it more on McCracken County.
Press the plus sign.
Right,
Yep.
but it's all blue.
And, yeah, and as you zoom in,
Water.
It's not, it's beautiful. Further reading.
The that you're looking for is blue orange.
Yeah,
I still, that's.
orange is water.
Oh,
Since.
That's a government. But
That's the science plug.
We got this from them a few years ago, sent it to Q Public and they put it on the website for
So that hasn't changed.
it. Well, I don't know if it's changed, but
It's the last time they've done the whole county.
It's good. Let's see.
it should have labels in here as well, but you might have to zoom in closer.
It does.
Yeah, it'll have the X, XE.
The X should be in the blue section. The E, C.
Blue is the X, and this over here was the,
The E.
yeah, I forget which one it is. That's what it looks like if you zoom out even more. But still, you still want to use the authority, of course, floatsmart.gov, so. I'm gonna turn that off. Okay, the parcel layers, talked about that. The address numbers, so do you all know that if you need an address for a new property, say, let's say, we get these calls from time to time. Somebody's gonna put a mobile home on the back of their property. They need a mailing address. The kids are gonna live in it for a little while. And who do you call and get an address from? You don't call the postal service, believe it or not. If it's in the county, call PVA office. We do that. It's something we inherited. We've done it for years. I don't know that every other PVA in their county do it, but we do the addresses in the county for McCracken County. If you need an address in the city, you have to call the, I think engineering or inspection office, but call the city. You get the address in the city from them. And we have a thing that we do. I started copying what the city did because we didn't have a process. Whenever somebody used to call us for an address, we would write it on a map, and that was it. Gave it to the owner, but nobody else knew about it. So I asked Janet down at the city inspection office, what does she do? She emails post office, FedEx, all the utility companies, UPS, everybody. And so she gave me her mailing list, told me what she puts in the email, a document, a PDF file, had a map showing exactly where this new address is on a map. It's a zoomed in map. And so that way, everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows exactly where that's at. And every now and then I'll hear back from the post office in Louisville. They'll either have more questions or they'll get some information from somebody else and they want to know, where is this? Because I can't find it. They will look at our Q Public website from time to time too for addressing. So we have layers over here that we share with the city and the county, or the city. We are the county, so even though we're a state office, but Jason and Ron, or Jason specifically, he talks with the GIS staff down at the city, and they exchange layers. We have our county address layer, and they maintain their city address layer. So we exchange those layers from time to time. They put our layer on their city map, and we put their city addresses on our map. So, and the reason this is important, one, 911 uses it, emergency services, including the volunteer fire departments, they use it. And so I turned on the city addresses and it's working, I imagine. Let me zoom in here. Okay. These are the city's addresses that the city, well, they're official city addresses. Sometimes you'll hear from a property owner who says, well, my address is this, and we go look it up and that's not what we got. Sometimes people make up their own addresses, or it was an address they used for 30 years. The previous owners used it. It doesn't match what we use. But when that happens, they either have to switch their address or we have to change it on our map. It's usually easier for us to change it on our map because otherwise they'd have to change everything they've got, including all the utilities, which is a nightmare. So, but sometimes, apartment buildings, sometimes they may have apartment A, B, apartment 2, 3, 4. Sometimes they've got their own legitimate 911 address, like 2011 Jefferson, 2013 Jefferson, 2015 Jefferson. In our CAMA software, in our database, we will only have one address for that property. Well, what if somebody calls and they say, well, my address is not 2011 Jefferson, it's 2013 Jefferson. We can't find 2013 Jefferson because it's an apartment that we've got addressed as 2011 Jefferson. So if you want to know exactly where such and such address is and you can't find it in our software here, our database, look at the map. I'll bet you can find it that way. So,
And that was under city address numbers for the city.
yeah, that was city and the county. The county's a different color. We've got, can't remember how to zoom out. There we go. The county's a different color, but that's insignificant. So, and I'm not going to go through all these because it'll take 2+ hours. So we got cemetery layer properties that we have labeled as a cemetery property tax exemption. I made a layer for those that people like to do, genealogy type stuff. They can click on that cemetery layer and it'll change the color of some of the layers and they know where the neighborhood cemeteries are. There are some cemeteries in some trees that have been abandoned that you'd be surprised there's a cemetery in there, especially out by the airport. City neighborhoods. So you're all probably familiar somewhat. This came from the city. We didn't make this. We asked the city for it. Like I said, we cooperate, collaborate, partner, whatever you want to call it. They sent us their GIS layer that has their neighborhood outline, and we put it on our Q Public website. Like I said, Q Public will do almost anything they can for me if they can do it. So one of the things that me and Glenn do, Glenn does a lot of this himself, and me and Dawn in the office use it when we're reassessing properties. Glenn will go through, he'll look at the sales in one of these neighborhoods and he'll come up with a price per square foot for each one of them. And he will come up with a median, and that median is what we use to reassess everybody with. So we'll do this for each neighborhood. Sometimes the neighborhoods are similar. So we will say, let's group this neighborhood with this neighborhood. Homes are the same style, same age, same condition sometime. And so we'll group some neighborhoods together. But those neighborhoods, we've also got those included in the search pages. So if you just want to look for a comp in a specific neighborhood, you can do that on the sales search and comp search pages up here at the top.
You are gonna go over that, that's gonna cover everybody.
Yeah, we will. You may go over it right now real quick?
Well, I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
the most interesting thing that
Okay.
not the most interesting, but I think
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah.
But all that stuff is great, but for those that I told, that's what we're gonna do.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
Okay, so you got all the layers over there. They're pretty straightforward. If one of the things I want to show you, do y'all see the stuff I put on Facebook about the old photos?
Mhm.
So if you click that historical photos right there, this is all the ones that I posted on Facebook thus far. So you can actually see where they're at. One of the things that some of these layers over here do is, see, I turned on the historical photos and it highlighted the location where I've got these photos. And if you zoom in, you can see a point. Now, one of the things that's kind of a trick, most people would never guess this in a million years. You have to select that layer to see the photo. You can't just check the box to see the photo. So you select the layer, it puts the little eye over here next to it.
What is that? What is that? Click, I can't see what that
And it
is.
says historical photo.
Oh, and you're saying you have to, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
You have to actually click on it.
Right.
Not the check.
Yep. Usually that eye right there is up here on current parcels, just like that. And people, never really notice it because it never seems to change. But if you click, and this same thing works with permits. So if you click on historical photos and you zoom in, or permits for that matter, and then you click on one of the dots, it'll show you the old photo up here and down there, and you click on full size, there's that photo. You can,
149,
that's the city's
not the day.
parcel number. They still use those numbers.
There's no way to know what year that.
Most of these were taken in the late 50s, 57 and 58.
So if you were like listing the building, you wanted to tell and full information, you could go to that, and
Yeah.
post that picture.
So. who makes the story?
It doesn't work. What are you doing?
You're doing-
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
Or can you just get?
I think it's just a regular permit all the way around, but that's something between, them and the city. But, okay, so, same thing with the permits. I'm gonna turn this off. And you see, I took the check off, but it's still highlighted. Still got the little eye over there next to it. If I go over here to permits, and now it's selected, here are the, properties that we have permits placed on. We get those from the city and the county. And if you click on it, it says that is a rental repair permit. It doesn't have a number. Some of these have numbers, actual permit numbers. The date is the date they took out the permit that I got from the city or the county. The status, it's blank. That means we haven't done anything with it yet. And the date inspected, which says they haven't inspected it yet. Some of these others should have some dates filled in. Well, I can find one. The guys hate doing the rental repair permits because usually they have to go inside the property. And if nobody's there, most people work. All the colors are a different type of permit. Something else I'll show you. So the permits, the historical photos, and some of these other layers, if you go up here to legend, it'll tell you what the colors are. So if I go to show all values right there, it says that the purple, I think that is addition, and we shouldn't have two. That's a mistake that I still need to fix. There's calm is a purplish color, green is detached, a darker green is field order, and so forth. So you can easily see what's on there if you're looking for something.
But how could we find out what the colors, is there a key that I'm?
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh, da. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to that other.
You can also zoom in and it'll tell you what kind of repair, what kind of permit it is.
On the attorney call.
Yeah.
Listen by Zoom on the
Right.
way. He's getting ready to do this test part.
Yeah.
So you haven't missed it.
Something else that's been very useful is me and Glenn have spent a tremendous amount of time on this, is adding the plat book and page. If you zoom into a property, if we've got a plat book and page, on those properties, it'll come up and it'll say plat book and page right there. You know, M 1700 or M3 or whatever it is. But, all right, there's some of them right there. All right, so let me get back here. Oh, well, question, the menu at the top, kind of terrible sometimes. Even when I was working as a realtor, this thing confused the crap out of me. So this is my screen. How do I get back to the search page?
Click on the search.
Right.
Search button at the top.
Well, okay, well, it wasn't there a while ago. Well, it was blank a minute ago. I was gonna tell you, well, if you click that, it turns off the menu over here on the side. If you click layers, it'll toggle that.
Need a bigger TV.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Sometimes on some of the screens, the menu will disappear. And you'll go to the drop down up here and it'll have property search or property map. That's how you get back to it. So there's two things in here that are along the line of. Oh, what do you have at the top left up there? Go.
Glenn's gonna come to you.
Okay. So the comp search feature, there are two features on this website that are kind of sort of comp search features. One of them is a brief version of comp search, and the other one's a much more detailed comp search. Why we have two, I don't know. But
The detail is the best.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
right, okay. The sales search, this is the brief one. I don't know why we have it. Maybe it's included with the website for free. The comp search, we actually pay more for. That's part of that $15,000. So if, this is everything you can search for on sales search, but if you go to comp search, there's more items here. There's a lot more items. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your.
Cheater.
Yes.
Comp search. Yeah, see,
Why does he not have all the, are you logged in? Do you have a subscription? Or do you have to have a
you
subscription?
don't.
Yeah, I don't have.
there's a difference
Oh,
between-
you have to be, oh, so he can set up an account and log in without paying for the subscription.
Okay, so you need to say that again because I don't know I didn't know that and I just heard it from the new agent.
So even though we're not paying me to make an account,
They'll tell you.
but still you can't access those unless you have current
You can't
subscription.
do pages.
Yeah. Like it'll let you do a general, what used to let you do a general search. Oh, yeah. So it lets you do a general search.
First one to teach you is the comp.
Yeah, but you have to have.
It's something that's an error that should be
Okay.
fixed, and I can fix that. I didn't know that on my account, I have free reign of the website, of course. And when there's a mistake like that, I never see it. Can you see?
Yeah, my papers covered too.
So, yeah, I'm on.
Go on sales search and see if you can even do that one without a. No.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Be able to get those out.
Yeah, because yes, and it's free. How long would it take you how long would they have to wait for that to be fixed?
Yeah, it doesn't need to.
You on?
I get back to the office and
Too.
We did it within seconds.
need to get back to the office and get situated again, and then I can fix it in probably 10-15.
So if y'all will, if y'all will just take notes if you can't get on or watch what he's doing, you're gonna be amazed
Oh.
at what all this will do and what you can do for your clients and for your listings.
Okay, Bill, is this what you were talking about that you have to fix? See, when he went to comp search, it says access restricted. That wasn't up there. Okay.
So if you can go on with you. If somebody else is restricted, if they want to share my screen, you can pull your chair up here or pull up closer to him.
So on the comp search page, we've added a few things in the last few years, like we didn't used to have the city neighborhoods in our database. Our CAMA software provider allowed us to add those. So we were able to use the GIS software to assign city neighborhood to each property. So we know what neighborhood every city property is in. We've got the subdivisions. Glenn has done a tremendous amount of work adding every home to the subdivision. Tax district, that's pretty much along the line of the fire districts in the county. Property class. The taxable they're either commercial, residential, or farm. And that's not to be confused with zoning. Okay, acres. You can search by in a range, that's what the low and high is. If you want to search for an acre between 5 acres and 10 acres, you can put it there. Living square feet. Now the living and the total, we have struggled to no end, and we still struggle with that for a variety of things. One is because our CAMA, our software provider, won't let us do what we want to do. Apparently this software that we use, our CAMA software, which is our database, our property database, it's used by every county in the state. Well, if we request a change, it also changes what's on their computer, in their software. We use the same software. But I can only update McCracken County properties and so forth. So what we've tried to standardize on is we've got 3 fields in our CAMA software. We've got total, basement, and finished. Well, this says living. The living is actually the finished on our screen, on our CAMA software screen. This is one of the things that drives us nuts. Some of the labels here don't match what our software has. Q Public calls it living, but in our database it's called finished. So we're trying to get some of these things cleared up so they make more sense. But
So does that include finished basement or is it only?
that's where I'm going. It does not. Our standard in the office is total living space for, the upstairs, the main floor, and the basement. Basement, the second field is just the living space. If they have an unfinished basement, that will be 0. If they have a finished basement, whether it's 3/4, half, quarter, whatever, we put the amount of living space as however much is finished. And the finish, the third one is, the main floor and upstairs, second floor, however much is finished. So when you're searching for a home that's 3,000 square feet, what I would recommend you do is put it in living. If you don't mind finding a house that's say 1,500 upstairs and 1,500 in the basement, you might use the total square feet.
Would you use both?
Well, you can try it either way. The total is going to include finished basement. If you don't want a basement house, a house with a basement, don't use total.
But the total is not gonna include.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yep.
So you got-
And that's where we get aggravated with our software provider. They drive us bananas because they just won't let us put another field there for unfinished basement and second. Yeah. Some of the properties that we've overassessed in the past few years is because we thought they had a finished basement because that's what the old property card says. So the property owner will call us and say, why did my assessment change so much? Well, you've got a finished basement and this, and anyway, it's all wrong. So we go out there and we get it fixed, and then they're happy, happy.
Here.
Happy. But instead of having a $300,000 assessment, they've got, 200 or 150 because we thought they had a finished basement. Go ahead, anytime.
Some of you know, he's been priced for 35 years. And he's using regular nomenclature for the general public. first floor, second floor, basement. It's below grade or above grade, folks. Trying to get that in your head.
Yeah.
That-
Even if the
that's
first floor is below grade.
to understand,
Still-
understand the definition of below grade. This room is all down. There's dirt to this point on the outside wall. It's considered below grade.
We've gotten griped at by some, or I've gotten griped at by some homeowners who said, you're calling that a basement? Well, it's got 2 feet on the outside of it. We're calling it a basement because according to standards,
Fancy.
the basement. And another property owner will say, well, no, the property owner's argument in that situation was he only got 2 feet on the outside of his house of dirt coming up the wall. But the other guy over here's got 6 feet on the outside and you're assessing it at half for each one. He's got 2 feet, he's got 6 feet. This guy over here is completely underground and we're assessing basements at half the above grade value, if that makes sense. But somebody griped at me over that, but
In this search, less is more. Don't get real specific because it's gonna search for everything in our system. And our system isn't totally 100% accurate. So we're trying to get it. Use some of the general basics, like subdivision or neighborhood. And your time frame, your sale dates. Those are the main. Really want to.
And your build could be important.
Yeah, whatever, but again. Our system doesn't necessarily have everybody's.
Right,
here.
that's true.
That's why I say less is more.
I talked to Paducah Water the other day. The statewide, they're doing some sort of, they're always replacing, digging up the freaking roads. Put a new road down, Paducah Water, JSA just digs it back up. But I talked to Paducah Water the other day. Somebody told me they needed our property records. They need to know the year built for every structure in the county because of the water line programs that they're constantly working on. And the guy called me, he said, well, one, we didn't send that email out, as you well know. And two, we researched this years ago and discovered that on our old property cards, it says, if you look at one of the old yellow property cards, it says somebody went out to the house in 1957 and asked whoever was there, or if nobody was at the home, they asked the neighbor how old the house was. And they'll put down 50. Neighbor told me that. So he decided that's not accurate for our needs. So they're using the age of the water lines, which makes more sense rather than the age of the house. But so yeah, we've got in the bedroom, bathroom count and so forth. We hardly ever get to go inside a house. Usually if we go inside a house, it's because somebody's complaining that we've overassessed their home for conditions specifically. And they want us to come inside the house and see the cracked drywall and the floors missing and things like that. And well, we don't always know that it's got 4 bedrooms. We may think 3, but it's got 4. So the bedroom, bathroom count is hit and miss. And frankly, one of the ways that we update records is we look at realtor.com or Zillow and see what you guys have been.
So we don't go there.
Yeah, well, some of the information they get is from us, the tax records. If a home hasn't been listed in a while, they will show you what the tax assessor has. But
So do you want to hear from the realtors or do you not
oh
want to
yeah,
hear?
yeah, we want to hear from
So
you
we
guys.
would email you, we would call you and
Yeah.
say, hey, I need you to fix this.
Whatever you want to do, call or email me or Glenn, tell us what the situation is. And now, one of the things that you have to understand is the guys go out there and measure a home with a laser or a tape measure. And they will, we don't take, when I was a realtor, I was taught to take 6 inches off for the walls. You still do that?
Mm.
No, you quit doing that. I guess. That's the way I was taught.
I mean, I think it's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
'Cause you
so
won't do the.
We
we do
didn't.
the full measure.
Yeah.
We don't take off 6 feet. That's ANSI standard again.
Second floor and peak rooms,
Yeah.
interior.
Yep.
If it's got this common corner, first floor, second floor, that's fine, you use that. Something.
So, I forget where I was at, but, I lost my train of thought.
Renters component.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember. We don't just take that measurement and stick it in the software, 1,300 square feet. The root of that number is our sketches. The sketch, whatever the sketch says, is the number that we put in. So if the number's wrong, then we've got to fix the sketch. The sketch is wrong. The sketch is the root of determining the size of a home or a building or whatever it is. So if you call me and you tell me the measurement's wrong on this property, it's not 1,300, it's 1,500, well, we've got to fix the sketch, which means remeasuring the home or fixing a wall in the sketch or something like that.
Seen times where the sketch says one thing and the card says something
Mhm.
else.
I don't doubt it.
Which is fine, I just use
Yeah.
one sketch.
Yeah.
If I need that,
Mhm.
but, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna ask you. Oh, way back when. Way back when,
Over
before,
50.
well before you.
Yeah.
You got, you
Yeah.
started in there. I know when they first switched to the new computer system, there were a lot of times where the card had information on the old system and it didn't filter over correctly or at all to the new system. Have you all,
Yeah.
you've got most of that fixed now?
We don't use the cards anymore. We have inspected everything in the county. If something could still be wrong, but we don't use the old cards anymore. Unless we're just looking for something that we're unsure about. But my aerial team had taken everything in the old cards. And they had when I say imported, they typed everything in that was in our database. So if the database was missing some features of a home, they would look at the card and they type it in. They did that on every property in the county. So they don't have to use the cards anymore. We still reference them, but they don't do that for their job. But I think we've got a lot of those problems resolved. So
And again, if you find something that conflicts with what you've had, please.
Can you put something in before, I know some people have to leave in just
Yeah.
about 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
could you put something in, like, I think what we use a lot would be like subdivision. This is what I got out of our conversation for 45 minutes on the phone, which was great.
Yeah.
A subdivision, and you want to get comps around there. And like, for instance, I was doing a bigger subdivision that has townhouses and it has homes, and it has homes under 2,500, but it has homes 6,000, and I only wanted homes 4,000 and up, and it lets you do all of that and hit that subdivision, and would just show them how that pulls up all their addresses and everything about the house.
did you?
It doesn't matter, you can pick anything, something maybe that. Yeah, that's peppermill. Because like if you don't want the townhouses included in your search, you don't click it, and that's very helpful, because otherwise you got 60 properties where you really only needed 40. To me, that was amazing, the way you can do triplexes and fourplexes and convert, you can do anything on here that.
Well, so when you enter something in here, if you want to put a search criteria, select what it is you want. You can select one, or you can select, multiple. You know how the difference between shift and control. Control will select multiple, shift will select contiguous multiple, if that makes sense. So if I just select Pepper's Mill and I put a check over here because I want to search by subdivision, then I go down, what criteria you want to use for?
Here, 2,100 to 2,800.
Most of them. Well, you could put a lot of them out.
I know.
Yeah.
Right now, let's just use subdivision in 1 year.
Oh, and don't put a square
Don't,
footage?
don't post anything, I'll
Okay.
just show you what it will put.
You take out the size, take out the size.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So we've got Pepper's Mill and 1 year, got the check over there. I'm gonna hit the search button. And
Oh, it gives you.
There- and there may be more. There's more columns over here. You can turn on. Here's sale type. Sale type is very important. Let me turn on sale type. Okay. So, yeah, well, these are all arm's length transactions, which are, between two different buyers and sellers. There's one in here that's a close relative, 275 Pepper's Mill. They may have transferred it to themselves into a trust or into a son, daughter for estate planning purposes. That's not a valid comp you want to use. Because when they put $10 on that deed. A lot of times, right. And other times when they file a deed, and it's a close relative deed, they don't put just proper value in there. They put the tax assessor value in there because they don't want to change their taxes. That's a trick that the attorneys do. So it's got the sizes, year built, number of baths, bedrooms, if you trust that. And so forth, so forth. There's a lot of good stuff right there.
And then show them how they could get the person's name and addresses.
Okay,
If they wanted to send at the bottom where
okay.
you download.
Yeah.
And all the names, and I mean, everybody may know that, but in case you don't know it, it's a pretty cool thing. I usually change that Excel to, I can't tell what yours says.
It says Excel.
But all of this is accessible.
Yeah, will be. It's
When he
not
gets
working.
back. to the
You
office.
can-
get this back today.
Like,
Oh, okay, yeah. This just makes the list.
oh,
Some reason it says,
because the one.
well,
Yeah.
see, it's- I refreshed the page. Now it's showing at the bottom. For some reason, it wasn't showing it. So, when I was working, selling, Philip Bond was my broker. And one of the tricks that he told me was there's a lot of free stuff that you can get on here without clicking report. Every time you get click report, you get dinged for another record. Philip told me I could go into search, put in a address, street or something like that. And I could create a mailing list to mail all these people, a sales letter, trying to get them to list their house or whatever. And, this is one of those things where the only time you're going to get charged is if you click that right there. You click that and the report comes up. That would have just dinged you right there.
I
And
just want them to see the mailing system.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this to me is not everybody gets their mail at home.
Right.
So it's interesting, you send something or you want to call and they may have a post office box or something else. So that was what was interesting to me.
Yeah. Landlords, they don't get their mail at their rental house. It goes to their house or their business. So the mailing address labels, the mailing labels lets you make address labels that uses their mailing address, not the physical address of the property. And the way you do that is by default, it uses Avery address labels 5160. It says that right there. If so you want to go, Walmart, wherever, buy some 5160 Avery labels, and it'll just print right to it. If you don't want to do that, you can do it the more complicated way, where you download an Excel spreadsheet, you open Word, you do a mail merge, tell it to open the Excel spreadsheet, and you print the address labels that way. I'm not going to go into
Or
that.
you can write.
Well, yeah, you can do that too. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Leslie's volunteer, right?
I mean, you shouldn't be figuring out 100, but if you needed.
I'm gonna click download there to download the 5160 address labels. Here they are up here at the top. There it is. All you gotta do is put your address label in your printer the right way, upside, downside, whatever, and it'll print it right to it. Mail merge, yeah, Word got a mail merge feature in it. So, and of course, you can put a lot more criteria. If you're coming back with a lot of bogus, let's say bogus. If you're coming back with a lot of sales, like close relative sales, multiple sales, things like that. You're just looking for, Jimmy sold his property to Joe Bob, you're just looking for a normal sale. Go down here and select arm's length and hit search. And
Okay, are you on the very same search you did, but you added that field?
yeah, I just went back one page. Oh, I forgot to put the check over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now that close relative sale is gone. But sometimes when Glenn is doing this, he'll bring up a subdivision or city neighborhood and he'll have a list 3 pages long. So he's got to reduce it to the arm's length, the normal sales. The close relatives, we don't care about.
Because they're not an accurate number anyway for us to use for our home,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
If someone's looking for arm's length transaction, fair market value.
One of the other things that we've done in our database is we've tried to classify all the structures. There's different ways to like commercial property. If we label something commercial, we can call it an office, we can call it storage, we can call it warehouse, a wide variety of things. But if it's a residential property, we can call it 1 story, 1.5 story, 2 story, story and a bonus, 3 stories. Oh, and up here for residence type, we've got single wide, single family, rental, which I really don't like to use. If you're just looking for townhouses, there's a townhouse option. You can only look for townhouses.
Tiny homes on there, ain't it?
Yeah,
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
yeah. This is one of the things, tiny home.
Bigger?
Take the little hashes, and drag it down.
Thank you, Jesus. That is so nice.
And another,
It's there to say, what did they do?
Yeah.
He's like, goodness.
we've been classifying everything. If it's bigger than a duplex, we call it either a triplex or a 4plex, 5plex. We go up to 8. If it's a 20plex, then we call it an 8+ plex. So, again, if we had full access to our CAMA software, we would add a lot more to this, but our CAMA people are difficult. Right? And something else, this works with everything, not just our website. If you're in one of these and you've got a ton of drop downs, like the drop down list has states, and you want to go to Kentucky, just hit the first option in there, hit letter K. Like I'm going to go down to double wide. I'm inside the box. I hit D and it goes right down. If you hit D twice, it goes to the second one, the second D. So don't get too involved in scrolling up and down. Just hit the letter.
Didn't know.
And
That's taking me a lot. Because I'm like, these little 3 things. Oh, yeah, that's a good.
okay. Another good point that we wanted to show you, if you don't already know this. So we selected, what was it, 4 properties that are arm's length. I'm going to bring those back up. So there's the 4. Now, what if you want to look at them on the map? You're gonna look at the map and you're gonna say, well, here's one and here's one. It does all that for you. So now if you go to map, there's those properties. And yeah, and then you got your options over here if you want to look at more.
Wow, that's
More.
incredible.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
It's the one, you can make a door knock.
And here's the same properties over here.
It's something that, I think is interesting, I want, everybody to know is, say you might wanna know if, you're looking for a property in that neighborhood because you got somebody who wants to live there. Look at the sale date, because if they just bought it in December and it's January, you probably don't wanna call them or visit them, so the sale date is, even though you told us to maybe not mark that, if you did mark it, then you would know they just bought it a couple of months ago or whatever. That helped me in a search I just did in the Grove.
Well, we've got a yearly sales over here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And it'll show you the type of sale. This is another thing you can do. This will show you the type of sale it was. You don't want the close relative sales. And it'll tell you what year they sold it. If you don't want to even use the comp search, use that.
The MLS anymore.
But this house, that it sold in 2003.
Search your
Wow.
I won't get it, we want to
No.
transfer.
That's right.
And I call them transfers because they're not necessarily sales. Transfer. So if somebody said, well, got new neighbors and it might not be. I don't know. So that's.
So some of them that are not labeled,
It sold.
those are ones that they built, they were the original own. Property. Oh, is this?
It goes,
And that's the sale date that you use.
Every year, I have to email Q Public, like this 2019. That's no longer a good comp. It's too old. That was a different market in 19. I need to have them take 19 off this map. And put 24. Well, it's already got 24. The 2019 is just not applicable. You don't want to use a comp that old generally.
But you can refine that right in that button, and it says, like I did, sell 1 year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it showed me everything that sold in 1 year at the beginning, okay. And then you could go back to the map and it's gonna show
And you said you could do this with commercial properties too?
everything. Everything.
you have to pick, you have to check that box. If you don't check the box,
It only does what you tell them to do.
She just said you can use.
right here.
Like, so.
And there's a drop down box where you can go 2 years, 5 years, whatever.
And you can set specific dates.
Because you have people that say, well, this house over here sold and so got that for it. That's what was happening to me when I called you. Cause I was like, wait a minute, this is not right. And when a lot of those were not, and I'm like, I don't know if that house sold or. So when I went to Glenn and he showed me how to do this, I could see exactly what house is sold, and that man did not know what he was doing.
Right.
Because he thought it sold for
I
700.
get that all. The neighbor, someone likes to.
Yeah.
So on the map we were just in, it shows the past 3 years, but on here we can go up to 7 years for this.
Well, if you just use the drop down, you can put in a range here of any range you want. And the map, it looked like it was going back to 2019, which I really need to have them take that off.
And choose.
That's right.
And you gotta make sure you check the little dot right there, which one of these you wanna use.
Yeah, I've used this actually just yesterday for last couple of days because the gentleman owned his house for a while. Well, now I know I'm Minerva, my friend so-and-so. And so I just said, okay, I'm gonna stop this right here. And I pulled all this up.
Yep.
Found him, printed, I go, no, he didn't sell for 275, he sold for 240. You know what I mean? And I made that number up and I made that street up, but I'm just saying, he was wrong. He's like, oh, what? Well, my friend bought this house and he paid this. But no, he didn't. This is what he paid because it was from I'm sure. I'm sure.
This house, this house, this house. They. The number they think it's sold for and what the actual sale price.
You know how, what are you, what do you feel like is your average for the length of time between the actual sale and when it gets on PVA records?
Well, let's
I
say,
didn't know it's.
Oh,
It's beefed up a lot.
yeah, well, so let's say you take it to an attorney. The attorney does the closing, takes them a couple days, usually at most, to file the deed. There's a couple days. The clerk's office, they will usually file it or record it that day, generally, unless you go in at 4 o'clock and they do it the next day. And so there's a day. Software, we started it maybe, I say new, maybe, I guess we've been using it 3 years now. But it's probably one of the most expensive new things that I've purchased. We pay $16,000 or $17,000, which isn't that much a month. But the county clerk's office sends all those deeds to our processor. And the processor has a real nice website that we use to click, done. When I say click, done, they're showing us the deed on the screen and we're verifying that they use OCR or optical character recognition. They're reading the deeds. So they take all the details from the deed and they type it in their database. We're looking at what they say is in the deed and we're looking at the deed on the same screen. So when they do all that, we get it maybe 4 days later, 3-4 days later, usually. So I say a week.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's way better. It used to be mine.
Way better
It
than
used-
months
It
and,
used to be mine.
or maybe even into the.
It's,
Thank you.
yeah,
You're awesome.
well, it's Glenn, let's see. Jason and Ron said that Nancy used to have them wait until after the assessment period before they would start processing deeds. So from January to May, they didn't process any deeds. Very much so. Back then, even more so. So they I tell my staff, I want you guys to do your job, get along with everybody, and I won't bother you. So everybody does their job. We have to change our procedures and things like that from time to time. And they love it. So Ron and Jason, they do the deeds every morning. Lately, they've only had maybe 5 deeds. The rest of the day, they're spending fiddling around or talking to customers. We've got the new Cavis system. If you're all seen the news about that, Cavis is where all the vehicles are now. They're not in the old Avis system. Now they're in Cavis. Starts with a K now. And for Kentucky, of course. And we're all just being run over with problems from that system. But anyway, they do a great job.
So I guess everybody that's here can stay a bit. I just wanted to ask a question. So when I hold it, say it. Yeah. So I know I know the answer to this, I think, but when we got the word that the county clerk was putting the deeds online, it's a disaster. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're a disaster. I'm saying the system is, because you still can't pull them. So is it ever gonna be on your side?
We cannot do the deeds. I would love to. It's, we all have products that we charge fees for to fund our offices.
Gotcha.
The deeds are the clerks, right?
Well, it's funny because I've tried to get them and you have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to print the darn thing. I'll just drive to the courthouse. I can go there for less money than pulling it up online.
Yeah.
And I know the Marshall County site is similar. You can pull everything on theirs, but just so y'all know, starting next year, Marshall County's gonna charge. Yep. Yeah,
Well,
Dora told me that the other day. She said they're just like, they're not making
They
any
do so
money.
much now that you don't get any of.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and it's
And
not-
and quickly too,
Yeah,
they're
it's
just,
not-
they're amazing.
They're gonna stop in 25.
Link, I talked to Jamie about what you're talking about, how much, how they charge a lot of money for that. It's like $75 a month or something. The attorneys love it, but for small business owners, that's too much.
Right.
So, I talked to Jamie about it. She didn't want me to advertise it, because I was gonna put it up here as a banner right there, but she didn't want me to do that. She didn't want a lot of people, she didn't want to be bombarded with phone calls all of a sudden. So I put a link down here to Jamie's website. If you click to this, it goes to a page that talks about it. And there's two options. There's a free option where you can get
Of the day.
5 a day right here,
5 a day?
5 lookups for free if you're a private citizen. But if you're a commercial user, you have to pay.
But if we got caught doing that. You didn't tell us.
I'm not saying anything.
We didn't, you didn't.
Search online.
Yeah.
If
you click that, you
The private citizen?
Go to the e-click
Just
system.
wanna create you a Gmail account.
I have a Gmail account.
You,
Business as a realtor.
I didn't get, where did you click after you went to that?
yeah, where did you go?
This page right, this,
The wrong link over there. I did the beacon side, but oh,
this is the search page.
deeds of it.
Yeah.
Citizen search.
Where does it say deeds online?
Down here at the bottom right.
So, did you click on the green thing?
What is that?
Uh,
Oh, there you go.
Feeds online.
So you don't even have to put an email address in.
Yeah.
well,
we do
you
right
think you still have to have an account, I think.
there. Here's my personal one.
He was asking for a phone number too. Is that gonna, will that be a problem?
That's a clerk system, right? I can tell you.
Ethical question.
Yeah. Mom's email.
She's trying to say as a what?
Ethical.
Cause I, a lot of them have to. Cause I know what it was like.
Okay, I need to take you off my other thing.
Take me off your list. I gave up my license.
You did.
So where you subscribe and set up a personal account and you can do 5 a day or just 7 a month, if that's what you needed. But you would just go into. So that's the real day coming in, Brennan?
Yep.
Holy.
He was waiting for you to complain and then tell you.
Yeah.
Class.
Do we owe you?
I know, right? Today also.
Yeah.
Collection.
My husband don't have any.
You make him like.
You could,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can look at it. Tell you you'll be looking at all sorts of stuff.
Because it'll be tied to KW and it would show that you're not a.
You need to be a little more devious.
You know what? I do not have a criminal mind, contrary to what people might have said.
Me and Glenn had lunch with the appraisers one day. Glenn and I had lunch with the appraisers group of, what, a couple years ago? And we had lunch with the appraisers one day, a bunch of the appraisers. And that's what was their thing that they wanted, was the deeds. And we can't give out the deeds. That would create a bad relationship between me and Jamie, and we can't have that.
We won't tell her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do it online and send it and email her a check.
Yeah. That's the way it works with other counties.
So.
It's just the same thing down there.
But even this.
Do what?
It shows you how to do labels.
Yeah.
And you did just what you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Search. Sale.
Uh-huh.
And understand that. Transfers. Look at the descriptions, and we try our best to be super sleuths and trace it back into this person bought it from this person, did they pay fair? In the last day or two, I had found where the winner of the St. Jude Dream Home sold the house.
Right.
Guess what?
Like,
They didn't sell it for typical dollars because why?
They
They paid $100 for that house. So the sale price, the first time they sell it, is lower
Lower than it would have been
than
had
what
they
it
been.
should.
Right.
yeah,
So that's another thing. I talked to guys that do the deed, Ron and Jason. I said, you really gotta look at a step back to even see that. We had a banker
Okay, but
that
we-
did that, flipped the property because he knew across the street wanted to sell and he got it. And he turned around, and sold it less than 6 months for $50,000 more.
A St. Jude home?
No, this was just a regular.
Oh, okay.
So I have a question on the search. I didn't want to check up people if they needed to leave, but what's the difference between a neighborhood and a subdivision? Because I tried to find neighborhood and it's not a really good search, right?
Me personally,
Yeah.
from my background.
Yeah.
Subdivision first.
Okay.
Of course,
Yeah.
we want, and he's alluded to this. When you search for comps, you want the closest.
Yes.
one. So big enough subdivision, you're going to get results enough to do your appraisal, your CMA.
But are those
If-
all
if I live on Hampton Street in town, if that one street is one subdivision.
But we wouldn't know that, right?
Right, unless you look at it on our map. And what you do is you go, well, Salem and Hampton are the same as Northview and North Tenth and whatever. You can, is it Control or Alt that you can pick four subdivisions and it will search those four subdivisions.
So for like the things in town that they were a subdivision in the 50s, but we don't really know what that is. Now you look there, do more than one neighborhood? No, so like more than one subdivision.
We assess by neighborhood.
Okay.
So theoretically, it's supposed to be the same
Mhm.
age, most, you can tell
Mhm.
when your ages.
Okay, what did I do wrong? I went to Midtown neighborhood and I've got sale date 1 year and I clicked search and it's not giving me the list. It's taking me straight to that the mailing label. What did I do wrong?
So, you selected which neighborhood
Midtown,
in town? Yeah. And you
so it's
said,
like it's picking up where earlier I did the mailing label.
did you say 1 year?
Midtown in 1 year, so all I've got checked on there and then I hit search.
Okay.
Make sure that you do the checks on the far right and highlight, or you get 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. Couple of
so did it take you to mailing label too?
Well, it didn't show anything.
Yeah, it's not taking me to the search. That's where it's taking me.
Well, it's there, it's just blank. It kind of looks like the search isn't working. Like maybe Q Public has, they added.
Because this would have been at the bottom of the search.
Yeah, or, not.
Where do you see 12 results?
Well, it's got 104 results right there.
Yes.
Okay,
You get search, it's not because they label.
something's not working right on the website like it did earlier. It says not available, the module comparable results. Well, that's the whole page. Is yours?
Something bigger on this.
Well, I'm not sure. That's a relatively new thing that we had them add. The neighborhood didn't used to be in here at all. Looks like they might have messed up. Let me start over. Did it?
I went to West Park Village. Oh, and that one worked.
Maybe,
It Midtown may be too large.
The Midtown mostly, well, that wouldn't matter. I'm gonna try lowercase.
Sorry.
Yeah, it might be something about Midtown.
Well, actually, I believe it's the results. If it's over 100.
Well, it should show the 100 and they're on a,
Can I ask a question while you're on this page?
sure,
So when you get it fixed and I don't have a state account.
Yeah.
On those reports, if I click on a report, is that when it's gonna ask me to like put in information to purchase?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, you're paying for is all of that information. Virtually.
Or you can sit around and think like if I do this and actually hit something, I'm not gonna get charged for it unless I like start. Okay.
But you can still get name and address on the map.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But like getting the full PVA report.
No.
Without, I would need to.
Right here, you went from here and you went to map. But I missed where you got the houses that were colored and ever,
that's different.
okay.
You don't have to go through these steps to get that. If I go to map from here, it's gonna show those properties that are in that list. This is also the same list, it's just more garbled. It's terrible. There's a layer over here that says yearly sales at the bottom right there. Yearly sales. These are in mostly alphabetical order on it. If you know the options, you'll be able to find it easier. So if you go to yearly sales and check it. It'll highlight everything.
That's very overwhelming.
It
So
is.
Yeah,
to not be overwhelming, do you have to zoom in?
yeah, just zoom in.
And I love how the address is on them.
Mhm.
I've not seen it before.
On the previous screen,
No, where you were on the map,
Like where it
Oh,
shows
yeah.
the-
yeah, the
you was on the street and it showed 2210, 2211.
address numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a layer, there's two layers up here. Address number city, address numbers county. Those are the layers that we exchange with the city periodically.
In any box you've got checked over here, it's gonna show that. If you don't want it, it clutters up the screen, you just uncheck that box.
Okay.
Did, y'all know how to search for comps?
Yes,
Well, let's try it.
much better.
We'll follow.
Is this a quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't tell y'all that part.
The search for
Have access.
sale,
For what?
Do.
sales
Uh-huh.
in the last year in Cimarron.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
For your board.
on here, I don't think that's.
Cause I have to
You
stand
get to
kind of.
see, make sure you check the left side.
CI and go to even further. Yeah,
Scroll down.
So we don't have to check two boxes,
Yeah,
subdivision
then you
and
can.
sale date.
And I got 8 results. What did you get?
we got 9. Did you?
I still. Is there a close? Oh, no, it's closer.
There's 2 of them here.
Something else Glenn taught me.
Well, you guys, that's when they say none of them will be on
The
envelope.
grove. And sometimes it's the, whatever we call it, the. Yeah, but as the grove.
Okay, yeah, what? I wonder why you had one more than I have.
Did you select anything other than Cimarron in 1 year?
Stay simple.
Well, let's just, why you got it, we've got 9.
Yeah.
You've got
and
8.
eight.
Does it say 8 at the top? Right,
The eight results,
Okay.
yes.
For what you have to what we have, let's find out
You
the
got
property that's missing.
210, 210 Cimarron, 320.
Yes. No, I don't have 320. I have, mine jumps to 440.
So you only did field aid and emerald, right? That's what you did,
Yeah.
those two things. Oh, I love that, I got 13.
Really? Yeah, I don't have 320.
You said 440, 450, 460, 470, 500, 175, and 155.
Yes.
That's a 2024 sale in January. I don't know, I'll have to study that.
Good. It keeps going back to my Conrad Heights.
Sell that.
When did I steal that?
Are you on the comp search page? Click,
Yeah,
click refresh at the
I
top.
did. That's what
You have
320.
pulled out of that.
Yeah, what does 320 say? It's not personal.
640,000.
Something to do with, I mean, I didn't set an end date, but I'm getting all 2023. I didn't get the 2020. So is it something to do?
I don't know.
That was soon doing.
We'll have to study it or ask you public what's going on.
That would be
Yeah.
either.
It's
Let's start with that. And a date when it starts.
So our house, my mom is gonna put it in a trust for me. What process, like what, is there like an amount we need to put down or anything specific?
If he or she even asks you what the value should be,
Like, do we need to put, we all assessed it
well,
or?
that's generally what everybody does. I mean, it may put $1 for the value, for the amount that was exchanged, because they gotta have something. But then for the value, they'll usually put what we have.
It's not picking it. And Tracy said she got 8 results as well.
Mine is messing up pretty bad.
I'm gonna call this city back. Gotta go get my refresh. Totally. And
I'm gonna have to leave shortly, but thank you all so much.
You're welcome.
No, it wasn't me.
Even if learning, we can help other people in the office,
So
you
you know
know.
those.
Yeah.
Do you have extra of these that you might could give Elena? Let's see 'em. Okay, I'll tell Elena so she can share those with. Did you get that? No, you didn't.
It's still 8 results.
Wow. That's unreal.
Well, mine.
It's like it's not picking up the 2024.
For some people, which is weird.
I did. I think totally went back.
I looked at Conrad Heights and found stuff and then went back and was doing yours and I would hit comp search and kept going back to the houses in Conrad Heights and I refreshed and refreshed. It was just, it's not being happy today.
So if I do, no, I heard her say that.
I didn't know you were here yet.
No, I wasn't, but I heard it on Zoom.
Oh, that's right, you was on thing.
Yeah. Okay, then if I could hear today. I still get 8.
That's the size of 8. If I go into February, it's.
Let me. I don't know.
And it's still leaving it to 2024.
It's, yes,
Even though I
yeah.
put it to the date.
Is it 320 Cimarron that you're not getting to? Yeah, yeah, it's like you're logged in as you, so you have full access to including 2024, but it's not including that for
It
us.
shouldn't matter. And,
Yeah.
sometimes I have to tell them, Q Public, every time January 1 rolls around, I have to tell them to switch us to the next year. I wonder if they haven't done that in some situation here.
Go back.
So you go back here, you mean to log out and totally log back in?
No, we already covered it. That call.
All right, so Pepper's Mill is what you want?
Okay. You do 1 year?
Yeah, just do 1 year and see what it.
I got 6.
Okay, well, hang on.
And one of them was a 2024. Did you get a 2024? It's right there. January 5th, 24.
So you did Pepper's Mill in 1 year?
Yeah.
6, is
Yeah.
that what you got?
Yeah, 6. And the bottom one was a January 5th, 24 sale.
So you try.
The date?
Yeah, it was January. I think it was January 5th.
So let me get back to Cimarron now.
Welcome, anytime.
Yes. I'll ask Leslie first and then
Oh, wait, that's really good. Get back.
y'all are gonna have a
So-
call.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
working
I
like
still got that too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Cimarron, I still got that.
Yeah, and that, 2024 is the same date as the other one.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever subdivision.
Yeah.
we just did.
Pepper Mill.
Yeah.
You know Kayla in our office? Kayla Edwards.
So, yes,
She told me you were gonna be here and you were looking forward
yes.
to it.
Her husband is his name Jeff.
Jeffrey? Yeah,
Yes, so they bought some farmland,
yeah, right.
or, you
Yeah,
know, they were
per year.
gonna hunt and four-wheeler and stuff on
So
there.
Glenn,
Yeah, they're
this
so
is
sweet. Yeah.
Isn't it? Oh, no, it's a close relative. Okay, so if we're in this search and we see, let's say we we want to take off the close relative sales from here, we can't do it from here, can we? We have to go in back.
Go back and turn on the sale type criteria.
And only do arm's length.
Right. If you're hard pressed for sales, you might even turn on something like multiple properties. Because maybe they bought a house and a vacant lot next to it, and we classify that as multiple properties.
Oh, so that's not arm's length then?
Well, it is, but we classified it as multiple properties because it involved more than one property.
Okay.
Means that it's not an on sale because you're just 2 properties.
Okay.
So Andrew was here, but he had to leave, he had appointments. And he said, during Q&A session, can you please ask about putting phone numbers on the PVA as a subscription only service? So can phone numbers be added?
Property owners,
Yeah.
we don't have any. People call us call or come in all the time and they want the phone number for some property. We have no phone numbers. All we have is mailing addresses for the tax base.
Awesome. Thank you. Great.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much for.
Things they've got your phone.
Yeah.
Now we get- This has been really helpful.
Yeah. Good.
We can't make such.
Oh, yeah.